Alright, I'm back at it again. Now what I want to do is start working on the headstock. I want to put a like an overlay on it, and what I ended up doing was making a template here just so I'd have it in the future. It'll help me make you know, necks or exactly what I'm doing now. And I checked it against the neck that, you know, my pre-made neck, and it's exact. You know, the holes are exactly where they should be, so this is good. And what this will help with now, I've got a piece of ebony here, which is going to be the headstock laminate up on top. It's going to be ebony, so I can use my template here, and since it's clear, I don't know if you can see the grain lines, but they're kind of at an angle here, so we can use this. I want to have my grain lines kind of straight on the headstock, so I'll do that, and then I'll sketch a line here on the bottom where the nut would go, and then that'll be my reference for this template, and we'll cut that out approximately to size, and then we'll glue it to the neck, and final shaping will be while it's on the neck. The other thing I'm going to do, the rosette has got like white, black, white on some lines, like purfling that I have. So I bought some, I guess this is like a fiber veneer. I got white and a thicker black. And I'm also going to do that on the ebony. It'll be on the bottom. So there'll be a white, black, white stripe between the mahogany and the ebony. Alright, that's the line from that template where the nut is. So I'm just going to use this miter saw and just pop it off close to the line. Alright, fresh off the miter saw, I marked it with white chalk, so I've got that as a reference. But now if I put the template on here and kind of line up the bottom of the template with that, then the grains are running the way I want it. It's kind of straight up and down on there. So that'll look good. Next step is, this is a little thicker than I need. The plans show the veneer is 70 thousandths, and I'm pretty sure this is over 100 right now, so I'll probably take it down around 80, 90, because we'll do the final sanding when it's on the guitar. Total, let's see, the total width of the headstock here is 5/8. So I already checked this. This is like 555 thousandths. So this is good. We just got to get this to be the proper thickness on top. I'm going to leave myself a little bit because we still have to sand the back of the neck here. Like you can see, it's kind of rough where the volute is. That's got to be sanded. The whole neck's got to be sanded. Right, this is back from the thickness sander. Right now it's about I think about 80 thousandths. So if we pop it on the neck here and just do a quick measurement, it's about 635 thousandths. So that's good, because 5/8 is 625, and this doesn't include the fiber either, which will make it a little thicker. So that'll give me enough to finish sand once we've got this on here, because I've got to inlay it too, and that'll give me a little bit of room for finish sanding. And I can still see the chalk here, so I know which end I want to match up the template here when I go to rough cut it. I traced it out, and I'm going to take it over the bandsaw and just get closer to those white lines. What I decided, instead of gluing the veneer and the fiber all at the same time to the headstock, I thought it might be easier just to glue the fiber to the veneer here, get it dry, so I'm just dealing with one piece when I go to glue up on the neck, and then I don't have to worry so much about everything sliding around. So I just I cut a couple pieces of MDF. They're a little bigger than the headstock. And what we'll do is, you know, glue them up, clamp these together, put a little bit of wax paper on the top and bottom, and I'm going to go white, black, white. So I've got my white cut out. I got to cut the thicker black out now. I think we're ready to go here. I'm going to use my trusty tight bond, and first I'll do the fiber here. We'll just spread. Just make sure we got the glue all over. Piece of something. Well, I got my fiber sandwich glued somewhat. If I got enough glue on there, you can see it under here. So make sure this is in the middle of the caul. Now I got my headstock veneer. I know this is up because I got the tracing on here. Make sure. Alright, that headstock's been drying overnight, but before I take that out, I've done a little work on the fretboard here, and I found another thing that if I had to do it over again, I'd do a little differently. One, this is going to have a 16-inch radius on it to meet the plans, and Martin uses a 16-inch radius. What I should have done is radiused it first and then inlaid it, because I thought it'd be easier to radius it when it was on the guitar, but I decided differently. I put some double stick tape on here, put it on that flat granite table that I've got, and I've got a 16-inch aluminum standing beam, and I used some 80 grit on this. Got it to 16, and then I used 120. So what ended up happening is I'm taking off more of the inlay than I wanted to, although they still look okay. But it caused my dots also to come a little bit more further forward. But it still didn't take that much off, so they don't look bad. So this is going to be a 14 fret guitar, 14 fret, you know, to the body. So I put a line back here. This is going to be, if I cut to this line, this will be right to the sound hole, the beginning of the sound hole, and that's where I want it, because when I did the rosette, I didn't completely catch the rosette because I thought it was going to be all under the fretboard, but if you look at the plans, it's up like maybe 1/8 of an inch. But since my lines don't meet under my rosette, I'm going to bring this all the way down to the end, to where the sound hole starts. You'll see as once we put this on the guitar, you'll see how that looks. Alright, I just set up a block here to kind of guide the Japanese saw with the line that I made here. This is what I'm talking about. Really, all I had to do was make sure this trim line right here touched, but it didn't. And the plans would have had it about there, so you could have seen that gap. Now I've got it coming right back and covering that on the sound hole. I just took this out of the vise and I cut off the extra fiber that was around the outside of the ebony veneer. I think it's going to work pretty good. I just sanded down a little bit on the one edge. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got some pretty nice, the lines look good. So I'm going to glue this now to the headstock on the neck. It's got a little warp to it, I think from just how wet you know, the glue was on the bottom, but if we clamp that down good, that should take that warp out. I'm going to get this ready for glue up. I've got plenty of border here, so we can, you know, center this, and we've got enough to cut off at the end. And then I'm just going to check where the nut's located by putting the fretboard on here. Just make sure I'm coming down far enough so, you know, we'll cut off the excess of the headstock when we go to fit the nut. But I think what I'll do, I'll put some glue on the headstock right now and just kind of let it sit a little bit, get tacky, and then I'll glue the veneer. Alright, I got the glue all over. I'm just going to set it here and just let that sit up for a few minutes. Alright, it's been sitting a few minutes. And I even put some on the back of the headstock or the veneer. I just want to make sure I get a good glue joint on everything here. So I'm just going to get this in position and put that caul on and clamp it down good. Alright, we got the laminate glued on to the neck here, and I've got a flush trim bit put on a little laminate trimmer there. What I'll do is just take this down flush with the way the neck looks right now. And like I said, we still got to sand the neck, but if I get this down, it's going to be pretty close to the finished dimensions here. It's good for now. Well, as usual, I kind of jumped again. I just want to see how it looked with the fiber. So I used a scraper, took it down to the wood, and then I sanded. And those lines look fantastic. You can see I didn't do anything down here, so it's rough, but this part of the neck I sanded with 220 after I scraped the fiber level with the neck. Well, it's just about time to glue the fingerboard to the neck, and what I did is I pounded a couple small brad nails into the ebony, and then I aligned it on the neck itself and pushed it down. And then what happened is, can you see that little brad right there? It's just a little point. And there's a little point, and that'll just serve as a reference mark and help to keep the fingerboard from sliding once I put it on the neck and glue it up. Wasn't sure if I wanted glue dripping down inside the truss rod channel, so I just put a piece of very narrow masking tape on here, and that'll keep the glue from getting down in there. Alright, we're ready to go here. Got everything ready, got the clamps ready, and my radius clamp that we'll use when we clamp this up. I'll show you. don't have to go all the way to the end with the glue because it overhangs the, you know, what goes over the guitar, so that's not going to be on the neck here. So make sure I get enough glue on here, especially these edges. Okay. Find those pins. Okay, it's on those pins. Okay. Well, there it is, all clamped up, and I had good glue squeeze out on both sides, so the fingerboard mates real nice to the neck. I made sure they were both perfectly true and square before I glued them up. So that's it. We got you know, we got the fingerboard, the veneer on there. Next step will be drilling the holes all the way through on the headstock, putting the inlay on the headstock, and then sanding the neck and kind of finalizing the shape before we put it on the guitar. So I'm going to post this because we're getting close.